Well, this conversation, Elena, and all the other panelists and the people who are listening, is very personal. It's very personal to me because I would not be, sitting in front of you, being able to share my story if, there wasn't a gender transformation that happened within my family. And if I start from my grandmother, who was fortunate. The only thing that made a difference, she was not very well educated. But what changed her life was that, a man, who approached her to marry her was a very educated man and wanted, was going to live in the UK and took my grandmother with her. And subsequent to that, my mother was not very, didn't have much education because the gender norms, she was left in Ghana by herself with aunts and uncles to look after her and so forth. And the gender norms in Ghana, dictated that, that she didn't, carry on with her education. After she's finished primary, that was it for her. She should go into catering or doing something else. That, she needed to have children, that she needed to make different choices. She was not able to really act out her own desires and her own aspirations in life and so forth. And so my grandmother, having the tenacity that she did and wanting so much better and knowing that, the world was going to be a very different place in future, especially for African girls, decided my sister and I would have a different life experience altogether. And we would be able to have self-determination of what we do with our lives and so forth. So she took us to the UK and, spent a lot of money and time and effort to try and make sure that my sister and I had the education and the exposure we needed to be the women that she couldn't be, or, to have the lives that we wanted to have. And every day in my life, and so this has really driven my life choices in life, my career and everything, knowing that the sacrifices my mother and my grandmother have made so that I could, have this position that I have. But, last year I had surgery and I was, had a few weeks at home recuperating. And there's a school next to my house. And in this school, this is the secondary section of the school, and the primary school is also close to my house. So I see the kids at primary school, equal amount of boys and girls, right? They're all excited. Everyone looks, very shiny, going to school every morning. And so as I was recovering, my balcony looks onto the secondary school playground. And I noticed something very, very different, which was I saw that, there was more boys than girls. I mean, there was the number of girls now going to secondary had dropped so significantly. I could actually count how many girls were in the playground. But in the mornings when I drop my sons and I see the other school, there's hundreds of girls. So you can really see there at primary school, we'll be able to see the boys and girls. But when you get to secondary, a lot of girls have dropped out. Why have they dropped out? I started asking myself this question. And this, asking questions and wanting to know more about this area has led me and my team to develop strategies within SIF that will help us hopefully address some of these challenges. Why we're not seeing those girls in secondary schools, and why we're seeing such a high teenage pregnancy rate in Kenya, in Ethiopia, in Nigeria. And so I look forward to, having further conversation and exploring this area with the other panelists and the audience as well.